Hello, and this is another top. It's not a top 10; it's a top 15 because we couldn't cram all these games into a top 10. And yeah, if you like this video, then think about subscribing to the channel, hit the notification bell, and then stick a comment down below. Right, so we'll give you a couple of seconds to do that while I run up the staircase for no reason at all.
Board Games 4K.
So number 15 on this top 15 party games list is a game called Billionaire Banshee, and in this one it's like a sort of a blind date sort of game. So you've got this deck of cards with these weird sort of characters, like you might have like a unicorn dwarf or something on there, you know, strange stuff. And when it's your turn, you draw one of these cards, and then you're going to say whether or not, secretly say, or turn a card over, whether or not you date this thing or this character, right? And then everyone's going to be guessing whether or not you date this thing, and then all is revealed, and it's a yay or no. But the thing, I mean, this is like sort of Cards Against Humanity type thing. But the thing about this one is you can have a real good laugh with this one. It's a little bit bawdy, a little bit rude, you know what I mean? So don't play with your mum, even though I played it with my mum. But yeah, she didn't like it that much. But yeah, Billionaire Banshee, number 15. So number 14 on this list is another sort of Cards Against Humanity game. It's called Funemployed, and what you're doing with this one, you've got a deck of cards with all sorts of jobs on, and then everyone gets dealt a hand of cards of skills that they got, and you're going to be applying for a job using these skills. So you might have a sort of have a job as a muckraker, and your skills are sort of changing nappies and eating pesto, for instance. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. You can have a real good laugh with this one, and you can really sort of turn the score on your mates as you sort of grill them and what is they're applying for the job of their lifetime, you know. So yeah, Funemployed, number 14. Number 13 is a big, huge, massive game with loads of people, and it's 2 rooms and a boomer. In this one, you've got 2 teams, the red and the blue. The blue team's got the president, the red team's got the terrorist, and at the end of these 3 rounds, you've got to make sure the blue team has to make sure the president is not in the same room as the terrorist, but the red team has to make sure the terrorist is in the same room as the president. And everyone's got a different role, and you're walking around your group. You don't know who anyone is because their hands are secret, or maybe not, depending on what role you got. And be asking questions to different people, and then at the end of a specified certain amount of time, you'll bring two leaders together, and then you'll exchange 1 hostage each, and you'll do that 3 times, and then you'll see how it pans out. But the only thing bad about this one is maybe that it's a bit difficult to sort of get people into the spirit of it, because I wander around going, well, what do? I don't know what I'm doing. But once they get over that, then it really does come alive, and it's 2 rooms and a boom. So number 12 on this list is a game called Say Anything, and you've got a deck of cards that you deal out, and you reveal one. You've got to answer a certain question, but you can say anything you want to as the answer. There's no specific answer, so everyone's writing their most hilarious answer, and then somebody chooses which one they think is the correct answer or whatever, you know. So it's another one of those sort of, like, you know, I'll write down whatever it is, and then we choose one of the best ones. But the thing about this is that where there's no sort of set answer, anyone can write anything they want, right? So that's what it's called, Say Anything, and that's our number 12. So number 11 on this is a delightful Habba game called Dancing Eggs, and it's literally just a box of eggs. I mean, they're wood and there's one rubber one, but you roll a die and it tells you what you got to do with the egg. So you might have to stick it under your armpit, you might have to put it under your chin or between your legs, and then, or you might have to run around a table. And as the game progresses, these build up and build up and build up, and then if you drop the egg, you lose some points, and then at the end of a certain amount of time, whoever's got the most points is the winner, right? So yeah, the only thing about this one, it only plays out to 4, so you probably could get an extra box of eggs and mix it up and do something like that and play with more players. But yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. Kids love it, adults love it, and that's Dancing Eggs, our number 11. Number 10 on this list is it's an old game, and it's a classic game, and it's Werewolf. Any iteration of Werewolf, whether it be One Night Werewolf, One Night Ultimate Werewolf. But in this one, you're given a hidden role, a certain amount of werewolves are put into the mix, and you've got to go around activating your roles in sequence and find out who the werewolf is when you ask questions at the end of and once all the roles have been activated, right? And it's wonderful. We love Werewolf, and what else can we say about this? We talked about this quite a bit, and we don't mind which one we play. I mean, obviously the original bigger Werewolf needs a moderator. One Night Ultimate Werewolf uses an app, but other than that, it's a fantastic party game, and that's Werewolf. Number 9 is a hidden traitor game called The Resistance, and we spoke about this in our last top 10. With this one, you go on these missions and you're picking your team, and then you're asking each other questions about who's the spies. There's a certain amount of spies in your group, so you're trying to deduce who the spies are, and the spies are trying to stay hidden. While this is criticised for being quite difficult for the Resistance to win, once you play it with the same people a number of times, this sort of meta game emerges, and it becomes easier to sort of figure out who's telling lies and who's telling porkies and who's not. Right. So that's The Resistance. That's number 9. So number 8 on this list is another hidden game. It's a game called Spiteful, and in this one, you've got one spy, and everyone else is trying to find out who the spy is, and the spy is trying to find out which location they are. In the box, you've got a pack of cards with a number of cards with the same location on, and one spy card. So what you do is shuffle them up, you deal them out, and obviously one person's a spy and everyone else has got a location card. And on your turn, you'll be going around selecting somebody and asking them a question, trying to find out who the spy is, but without revealing the location. And obviously, if you're the spy, you're trying to find out where you are without revealing that you're the spy. And it's very clever, and you need to play this with the right sort of people, because a lot of people just sort of sit there and go, well, I don't know. What shall I do? I don't really know. I'm a bit embarrassed. But and also, sometimes you get the same question coming up now and again. The same thing, you get these stock questions, a bit like charades, that sort of thing. But yeah, Spiteful. You don't even need to buy this. You can play it over the web on your phone, and it's a wonderful game. That's number 8, Spiteful. So number 7 is Bruno Catala's Masquerade, and in this one, it plays up to 10 people. You get this courtly personality with a special ability, and on your turn you'll select somebody and they'll give you their card, and you will put them under the table and you will swap them over, or you won't swap them over, and then you'll hand a card back, and it may have changed, it may have not. Another option you've got is to declare that you are a certain personality, and you'll say I'm the witch, for instance, and then everyone else gets the opportunity to challenge you and say you aren't the witch, and then you flip over both cards, and if you're correct, they're correct, they'll get a boost, and if you're wrong, you'll get a penalty, and vice versa. So yeah, Masquerade's crazy. It's quite confusing for first time players, but we've had a few problems where people sit there thinking, what's going on? I don't understand this. But yeah, it's a wonderful game once you get your head around it, and that's Bruno Catala's Masquerade. Number 6 on this list is a game where you don't actually have to know anything about anything. It's Wits and Wagers, and you've got a load of questions, and each question is the answer is a number. You're asking a question like, how many people live in, I don't know, Zimbabwe, for instance, and you put down a number, and then you lay out all of the answers in a row from low to high, and then you bet on which question you think is right, because you might change your mind, right? Whoever's closest gets a money based on what they bet. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's one of these things. Is like, a lot of people don't like these question games because they're worried about looking stupid, but this one you don't really need to worry about that, because yeah, you don't actually need to know the answer. You just have to have a good guess, and you can also sort of bet on other people's questions. If you don't have no idea, you can wait to see what other people are saying, and then you can bet on that. So yeah, Wits and Wagers, an absolute classic. Yeah, it's got a nice little gambling aspect, and yeah, that's our number 6. So number 5 is a game where you get to point foam guns at people, and it's Cash and Guns. And what you're doing on this one, there's some loot in the middle of the table, and you play a click card or a bang card. If you play a bang card, then you put a bullet in your foam gun, and if you play a click card, you haven't. And then what everyone does, they do the Reservoir Dogs thing. They point their gun at someone, and then they reveal and say, I played a click or a bang, and that gives you the opportunity to drop out before you reveal your cards. Anyone that's left it in either gets shot or doesn't, and anyone that doesn't get shot takes it. They divide the loot up, and this is great. It gives me the opportunity to point a gun at my mum. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's always I wouldn't say a wonderful thing, but maybe it's a macabre fantasy of mine. I better shut up now. Number 4 on this list is a wonderful party game which creates riots. This one is Happy Salmon, and we've got it here. You can get 2 versions of this, and if you put them together and they mate and create little baby salmons, no they don't, then you can play with 12 players. And the way this one works is everyone gets a hand of cards with the same thing on. You might have different actions on it. And you've got Happy Salmon, you've got Fist Pump, you've got High Five, you've got Switcheroo. We play this round a round table, and what you're trying to do, you're trying to match cards with actions. So you want to try and find somebody else who's shouting out Switcheroo or High Five or Pound It. When you match, you put your cards down. It's the first person to get rid of all their cards, and it's an absolute blast. We've done a review for this. If you go back through our videos, you'll see we inserted a little playthrough of this when we played it at Christmas, and it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, our neighbours called the police because they thought we were having a riot, that somebody was smashing our house up. It was that loud, and we do apologise, next door neighbours, but it's all in good fun. And Happy Salmon is our number 4. So number 3 on this list is an oldie but a goldie. It's Absolute Boulder Dash, and in this one there's a deck of cards with questions or stuff on it, and you pose this question, and what you're trying to do, you're trying to write out a fake answer to the question, and you're trying to get people to choose your fake answer as the answer to the question. And obviously, if it's your turn, you've got to write down the real answer, right? You can't write down the fake answer, you've got to write down the real answer, and you mix all the answers up. Everyone tries to guess which one they think is the right answer, and this game the only time I've seen my old man piss himself laughing, with laughter, absolutely cracked up. I've never seen him laugh like this before. And my sister played with my sister, and she managed to convince me that this particular person that was on this card was the official carpet weavers of the United States president. I mean, that's the thing. The trick with this one is to write your answer in the style of the question. Because if you just write a one-word answer, I don't know, a name of somebody or something, if you don't listen to the way the question's worded, and you don't try, and you got people that don't care, it's not worth playing it, because it doesn't really work that way. So you need to look at the style of the question and then mould the answer around that to try and convince people that's the right answer. So yeah, Absolute Boulder Dash, that's our number. Excuse me, my little daughter's copping about an apple, I think. And it's Absolute Boulder Dash, number 3. So number 2 on this list is Telestrations. It's a sort of a Chinese whisper sort of game, and everyone's got a flip chart, like with the dry erase marker, and you've got a topic that you've got to draw right on this first sheet. What you're doing, you're flipping it over and then passing it on, and then somebody's got to write down what you've drawn, and then you flip that over, and then somebody's got to draw what they've guessed, and then you carry on like that until you run out of pages, and you all reveal. And there's a scoring mechanism, but we don't bother with that. We just like to go around the table and have everyone explain this story that's emerged, and more often than not, it's like, what the hell is this? What is this? And it's absolutely hilarious. And Telestrations is a fantastic game, and you need to have it. And you can. There's a party pack of this, so you can play it with 12, but I don't think it's in print anymore. So you just go and get 2 packs or whatever. It doesn't matter. And there's a sort of an adult version of this one called Scrawl, which is a bit more to the bone sort of thing. It's a bit more rude, so to speak. But Telestrations, super game. So number 1 on this list is a game that we keep talking about all the time, and it's Monica's, and it's charades type things. So we've got 3 rounds. In the first round, you got these cards with stuff on it. It could be anything, and you split into 2 teams. And there's 3 rounds, so you end up with this deck of cards with all this stuff on. And in the first round, what you're trying to do, you've got to try and get your team to guess what's on the card. But you can't say what's on the card in the first round. You can say anything you want apart from what's on the card. In round 2, all the cards come back into the deck, and you go around again. And this time, you can only use 1 word, right? And in the 3rd round, you can't say nothing. You can't say anything. So the wonderful thing about this is that by the 3rd round, everyone knows what's in the deck. So you're looking for little hints that people might have done. So it's in your interest to do as many actions as possible for the 3rd round, right? And it's absolutely astonishing. I mean, you can get it as time's up. It might be a little bit cheaper. And there's an open source version of this one on the web if you really are that hard up. But I would recommend it. Everyone that's played this goes out and buys it when they come around our house. And Monica's is our #1 party game of all time. So yeah, like we said at the beginning, if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, stick a comment down below, and we'll see